Hey, what's going on, metal people out there? Hope you are all doing well. Welcome to another episode of the Wyatt's Metal podcast. Hopefully everything's working all right. Hopefully you can hear me fine. Um, Happy 5th of July it is now. Hopefully you all survived yesterday with all of your fingers. um, Hopefully you all had a good 4th of July if you decide to celebrate in any way, mostly just an excuse to blow shit up. But hey, that's always fun in metal. um, I had a pretty good 4th of July. I went hiking out in what's called Big Bear out here in Southern California. It's a nice big mountain area, very foresty. So it was a nice day, just getting out in nature and reconnecting with the world. And now I'm ready to reconnect with you guys because I missed last week for the podcast, but now we're here, back on schedule. So thank you guys for being here. It's got a couple of people in here already. We got Planet Killer saying hello. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up here. It's going quicker than I thought it would be. It showed like not really anybody, and then it showed like a bunch of people really quick. So I'm like, oh shit. What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. Did you guys do anything fun for the 4th? Someone blew up for the 4th. That's awesome. Congratulations. Hope you're still able to type okay on here. Martha says, I got drunk. Yeah, I think a lot of people did. That's usually the thing to do for 4th of July. Get drunk and blow things up. It's very safe, very American, I think, obviously. What else has been since the last time I saw you guys? Did go to one concert actually. Saw Emperor in at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles. Blanked on where it was for a minute. Um, I'd seen Emperor before. This was my third time seeing them, and they're just so fucking excellent live. They sound so fucking good. You really feel the power of that band grab into you, and they haven't played LA, I think, in like 16 years, they said, something like that. So that was cool. I really got these flashbacks of like first getting into 90s black metal, first discovering all those old albums and everything, and think like, whoa, this is so mysterious and dark, and what the fuck is this genre? Um, so that was pretty exciting. Got to see Emperor. I don't know what the next metal show I'm even going to coming up is, which is a bad thing. There's got to be some coming up soon. One concert I am going to this coming weekend. It's not metal music, but it's still very incredible. I get to see John Williams on Sunday, maestro of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all his classic movies. He does these concerts at the Hollywood Bowl in LA every summer, and they are incredible. You sit under the night sky in LA, you see like the stars above, and they play the Star Wars music. It is amazing. So that's my next concert coming up. My next metal one. I'd have to look. I have a terrible memory for remembering when shit is. Read some comments here. Dude Meister says, your Metal Fest reviews are awesome. Thank you. I would love to see you make a video on my local Metal Fest, Copenhagen. Yeah. I haven't been to Copenhagen yet, but all my friends who've been say it's a great festival. They usually have killer lineups. That's the one that's a big priority for me to go to. I definitely want to check out Copenhagen. So that video will come at some point. But Copenhagen's one that I've been greatly trying to get to for a while now. Leanna H says, hi, I love your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you all for the support for the channel. It's always awesome to see. It makes me feel so much better about spending hours working on these videos. Sometimes it can take a while, but it's all worth it for sure. And new announcement for the channels. I now offer memberships for the channel too. That is exciting. So we have little VIP perks for Wyatt's Metal. You can think of it as the VIP section, but you don't get your own bathroom, but you do get badges for these live chats right here. You can have these cool little badges pop up to your name. You get unique little emojis, and then there's members only live streams that I'll start doing so we can have a more personal, more intimate hang out, like when the big band plays like a local small club on an off show. Um, and yeah, it's if you want to check those out, that would definitely be appreciative. All of it helps me achieve my goal of buying Iceland and turning it into a nation of metal festivals permanently. So this is really I'm doing it for all of you is more the thing. So yeah, if you want to check that out, I would definitely appreciate it. But I definitely appreciate you guys just being here, hanging out, watching my stuff. I'm glad that you enjoy it. Oh, I did want to bring this up. Adam says, "Did you see Fire in the Mountains is at risk?" Yes, I did want to bring that up. I wanted to make a video on that. I've just been busy lately. I know their thing is coming up, but so Fire in the Mountains is this really fucking awesome festival in America. Believe it's in Wyoming. Let me pull it up here while I talk a bunch of bullshit, but it looks like a really fucking cool smaller festival. It's out in the wilderness. It's very much about nature and this like home setting. They're very um what am I trying to say? It's a very personable festival, it feels like. And they posted that they had some danger. Let me pull it up right here. And we have to help out our festival friends because what would we do without them? And this one just looks fucking cool and I want to support them. Yeah, so Fire in the Mountains says help save fire in the mountains. Click here. Fire in the Mountains needs your help. We need your voices to keep our festival alive. Please write an email to the I think it's Tenton County Commissioners voicing your support before Friday, July 7th, which is very soon. So if you're listening to this, please do it soon if you'd like to help them out. If you can, please show your support in person at the Tenton County Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, July 18th. Full details below. To the friends, family, and those considering joining us at Fire in the Mountains. Fire in the Mountains is an event that thrives on community and is upheld solely by the people who have become our family. This includes all of you who have attended the festival, performed music, shared stories by fireside, walked the trails of Buffalo Valley with us. Because we are an entity kept alive completely by our people, we now turn to you for some help. We don't need your money, we only need your voice. The situation. The fate of the next and future editions of Fire in the Mountains is at risk due to permitting. Our event is contingent upon approval of the conditional use permit. What that means is we are required by Tenton County to apply for a permit that would grant us permission to hold Fire in the Mountains each year. We are currently in the process of having our permits reviewed by the commissioners of the county, and if these permits are denied, the future of the event will be thrown into doubt and question. We have made it a priority to do our due diligence to work in alliance with the officials of Tenton County who work with the interest and preservation and community in mind as we do in building a safe environment that has a positive impact on both its attendees and the land it takes place in. Yeah, so they're asking for just people, fans of the festival, to voice their support in it because I guess apparently they didn't have a regulations thing before. It seems like it's on actual like private property, like people who put on the festival actually own that property. So which is probably why they didn't have an issue before. But everything that I've seen and can tell from this festival seems really awesome. I haven't seen any bad issues or reporting with them. I also haven't been, to be fair, but I absolutely want to go to the next one, so it better happen. So I encourage you, if you like, to help these guys out. Send an email saying how cool the festival is, how important it is for them to be on that land and stand by their community. As the message in the emails, our co-founder Jack Resident says the following: In these in these emails, please be positive, kind, and genuine. It's important to express your sincere and genuine sentiments on what Fire in the Mountains means to you and why it's such a unique, life-changing event. Please express that the event is so unique and life-changing because it's at Heart Six Ranch. Another location wouldn't have the same effect. Please describe how clean the festival and campgrounds were, how safe the festival was, and please mention how genuine and effective our environmental efforts are. Again, please write this email right now. We need an overwhelming show of public support by flooding their inboxes with positive and supportive emails This is imperative to make Fire in the Mountains happen again. So yeah, people listening, I'd greatly encourage you to support this festival if you can by emailing. You can find all the information on their website here. Because this is such a unique looking event, let me pull up the pictures of it. It's a small festival in the mountains, and it has, like, rivers, and it's very peaceful and about it's very pagan, I would say. Uh, yeah, so if you can, I recommend helping out those guys. Show some community for the good metal festivals out there, the ones that actually care and don't rip off their fans. Um, let me catch up back up here. What else is going on with you guys? Oh, I do have another announcement I forgot about, actually. Let's pull that up really quick. I guested on my friend's podcast the other day, and the episode was just released today. So, some friends of mine run a podcast called the Horrible People's Podcast. It's all about horror movies. They're horror film fanatics, like most people are nowadays. It's a super fun time. I've been on their show before, and I wrote an episode for them that was about horror and music and how they influenced and combined together and inspired each other. That's a pretty cool episode. You should check it out. But the episode that went live today, we covered the classic John Carpenter film They Live. I want to pull this up really quick. It would help if I could type. I'm telling you, the American educational system. We know how to blow things up. We do not know how to spell. Okay. Can I even show this? I don't know if that even works. Oh, there we go. Yep. Cool. I'm not completely dumb here. So yeah, Spotify and a couple of other streaming platforms. The Horrible People's Podcast. Good friends of mine. Very entertaining show. We have a lot of fun. Talk a lot of shit. And they allowed me to guest on this episode where we talked about They Live. Classic. Check it out if you're into that type of thing. Let me catch up with some comments here really quick. I think it's Monster Macchio says, I have Obituary 200 stab wounds Friday night. Fuck yeah. Obituary is so good live. I've seen them a lot and it never gets old. It never gets tiring. Uh, what's my chat doing here? Flying around? Oh, someone's going to see Rammstein tomorrow. Rammstein is amazing. When I saw them last September, almost a year ago, that was one of the biggest shows I've ever seen, period, on par with like festivals and everything. It was crazy. No one has a bad time at a Rammstein show. Maritza says I'm going to see Havoc on the 15th. Nice. I grew up a thrash kid. Havoc was definitely on my playlist very often. um William says, waiting for October now. Got my Cannibal Corpse ticket. Fuck yeah. Cannibal Corpse is classic. I play them a lot. I think they have a new album out coming soon. They just released that new song. It was pretty solid. Gavin says, I'm seeing the Black Angels this October. Not a metal band, but they're sick. Cool. I don't know who Black Angels are, but I hope you have a great time. Wait, what? Gothic Spike says, have you seen the story about the threat of canceling Download Fest left this year? I have not seen anything about that. Let me see. Thanks to the power of Google, let me see if we can find anything, but Download being canceled seems ridiculous. Uh, 'Cause I would imagine it would make so much fucking money for the area. What is going on? Download Fest. Uh, Sorry, I know I'm being so exciting right now, but I don't see anything about download being canceled because that would be a terrible move on everyone's part. Did anybody go to any of the big festivals? I know Hellfest just happened, Grass Pop. Um, shit, isn't Vakken happening like now or within the next couple? Oh, wait, no, that'd be next month. My bad. I forget when we are. Time is strange. It's not real. Oh, someone says that Download Germany was canceled this year. Okay. Uh, yeah, they do a couple offshoot ones here and there. That sucks, though. Hey, someone comments, I'm seeing Gojira in September. Gojira is so good live. They are crazy heavy. I worked at this arena in Los Angeles recently called the Forum. It's very big. It's where like Foo Fighters would play. And Gojira played there. And their heaviness and sound on this like big stadium was insane. I remember going to the bathroom and it felt like there was an earthquake happening. The place was shaking. That was great. Yeah. Oh, here's a good comment. You should make a video about the Asian metal festival scene. There are a few good ones. I would love to do that. That's a great idea because I have not been to any Asian festivals or shows. Haven't been to Asia at all. But yeah, that would be really cool. I would definitely want to look into that because I know there's Loud Park, but I don't really know about much others. I'm assuming there are. But yeah, that's cool. I would definitely want to do that. I still want to do my the Latin America scene too. If we could just kind of go all over, cover every continent, every place. Imagine covering like Scandinavian metal scene for festivals. It'd be like 5 hours long, just naming every single festival they have. Uh, Sample he says, I went to Tuska, saw Electric Callboy, learned a bunch of good stuff there. Cool. I haven't seen Electric Callboy yet, but they're playing here, I think, in August, and I really want to go. They're such a fun band. They just put you in such a good mood too. If you're having a bad day, you put on Electric Callboy, everything will be okay. Oh, good question here. Sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce her name. But who was the worst band you saw at a festival? Let me think about that a little bit. I know there's got to be some. Well, it's kind of difficult because at a festival you could easily walk away and go somewhere else. But I don't know if it really counts as this like these type of festivals where it's multiple days long because this was a 1 day event back when the touring days of like Ozfest and stuff like that. But there was this tour called Sounds of the Underground, and it was an all-day festival, but it had like some good bands like Behemoth and Amon Amarth, and then it had a bunch of really crap like scene core bands like the Number 12 Looks Like You, Devil Wears Prada, bands like that. Some of those bands probably aren't even around anymore. Some of them probably been arrested. But, I would say probably that because I couldn't get away. You had to see the bands, and I remember seeing this band called The Number 12 Looks Like You. I still don't know what the fuck that means, but, that was brutal and terrible. I'd say a lot of the worst sets I saw were at Sick New World because of how fucking terrible they were actually setting things up and everything. But in terms of band, I would say that just because there were so many bad ones I didn't want to see. Um, I forgot. It was in Fresno, and I had a great time. I was there to see Savage Master and Entrance. That's cool. Savage Master's badass. There's a bunch of little festivals happening around here too. There's one coming up pretty soon that I can't remember who was on it, but I definitely will check it. Um, Also, announcement for me is that last Friday, my band was supposed to perform our first show, Dark Insanity, and the show ended up getting canceled because the venue had double booked. Unfortunately, we definitely tried to save it, but it just didn't work out. So we're trying. I mean, we're ready for shows right now, and we're pretty much just looking as soon as stuff comes up. We're jumping on it. We already have some stuff coming up. We have our only show that we have announced so far is gonna be in Arizona. So it'd be pretty funny if our debut show's in Arizona. But hey, I'm cool with that. Um Tim comments, purely because I was just listening to their new album. Thoughts on Cataclysm? Cataclysm is sick, you know. I don't love all of their albums. I kind of like they're a band that I won't listen to for a while, and then I'll listen to and be like, damn, I forget how good they are, and it like really crushes. But they are one of those bands that I can't really listen to for that long. After a bit, I'll kind of get a little tired of it. But yeah, they've always been one of those bands I kind of go in and out of. I think their drummer especially is fantastic. Fucking Gravity Blast. But, they're definitely a good band, like, if they're playing a show that I wanna go to, I'll definitely go and check it out, and, yeah, I think Cataclysm is pretty cool. Oh, this is a great question. What's your worst crossover at a festival? I had Iron Maiden and System of a Down at the same time at Nova Rock. Who the fuck would do that? What festival organizer would put those bands on at the same time? That seems really stupid. Because 'cause they're both such big bands. That is odd. But I've had some brutal ones. Let's see. One that comes to mind was Hellfest 2019. Lamb of God played at the same time as Emperor, and at the time I hadn't seen Emperor before and really wanted to, but I also do love Lamb of God, especially live, and I wanted to see them in such a big setting. So that was a difficult one for me. I did go see Lamb of God because I ended up seeing Emperor later, so it was all good. But damn, there's some epic, brutal clashes. I know I've missed so many bands, like Dark Funerals played at the same time as Slayer before. Um, what were some other ones? It's hard. I need to pull up these like schedules, but those 2 definitely come to mind. I feel like I don't know. I'd have to I think that was the most brutal one that I can remember so far is the Lamb of God and Emperor tying at the same time. But it's always oh, no, no. Damn. How did I forget? In Hellfest 2019, Gojira played at the exact same time as King Diamond, and I think that has gotta be one of the most brutal ones. How did I forget about that? Because I couldn't believe someone would be so stupid to put them both on at the same time. I went with King Diamond because I grew up a massive King Diamond fan, but that that one was definitely tragic, I would say. That hurt just a little bit. Dude Meister says, "Worst band I saw this year was Motley Crue. That was just pure cringe." Ah, man, that situation is so stupid because I saw their last tour in 2017 when they did the contract, and it was cool. They played with Alice Cooper. That was a great time. And then they just had to keep going. Vince Neil just had to keep buying fried chicken and needed more money. And God, I just it's because like back in the day, I like Motley Crue for the fun, like cheesiness of it all and everything. But now it's just a puppeteered like corpse. It's like Biden being just it's not real anymore. It's just being propped up on stage for monetary value. I thought the fucking I hope that John 5 is getting paid out very well because I really like John 5 a lot and I think it's really beneath him to join Motley Crue. He's so much better than that band, especially for how much they don't actually fucking play live. I'm just saying, I hope he gets a really big payout and then either goes back to Zombie or goes to a better band afterward. But my opinion is Motley Crue should have hung it up after 2017. Just kept it at that. Wyatt's Metal Life comments. That's a very interesting name. I think we've found my doppelganger. Maybe we're the same person. Maybe we're split from the multiverse. I live in Vegas and heard Sick New World was horrible because of the weather. I mean, that was definitely one of the reasons. It was very, very hot, and then it got very fucking windy. I think there's just camp or that area is just terrible too because it's just on that black asphalt. So I think honestly, in terms of weather for Vegas, it wasn't that bad, but being on black concrete all day with a bunch of goths and people who aren't used to the sun, yeah, it was pretty brutal. um, oh, here's an interesting one because Tim comments, worst festival act I remember watching was Rob Zombie at Knotfest meets Hellfest in 2019. I don't know if he was having an off day, but he was terrible. That's interesting because I was there. I saw that show. I don't remember it being that particularly bad. Don't remember it being that like incredible either. I've seen Rob Zombie a lot. I fucking love him live, but interesting. I wonder why you felt it was so terrible. That was a while ago too, and we were all very busy and distracted, so maybe I was off. Ew. All right, I gotta address this comment. Sam or Samp says, I think especially in Scandinavia, the new thing with festivals is that a bunch of old metal festivals are going to more pop music paths, which kind of sucks. That does suck. That's gross. Um, I know that a bunch of some festivals have been going a more mainstream route too. Like that's one complaint a lot of people have had with Vakken in the last few years that it did feel like more of a celebration of an underground, and I feel like in ways it still is, but, it has become more mainstream to where, like, before the early 2000s and so, I don't think people would imagine fucking, like, Slipknot and Limp Bizkit playing Wacken, and now they do, and, I mean, I enjoy seeing those bands live out of fun, but, Wacken very much used to be type of, like, the headliner was Celtic Frost reuniting or Immortal, Emperor type of negative and stuff like that. Um, and in terms of download, that was always a more mainstream type of festival too. It's like I'm not surprised at all when they go more in that direction. But maybe in a way you could kind of say Hellfest too, just because they've gotten so big, but I wouldn't say they've taken out the underground celebration of metal there, but they've additionally added on top of that stuff like Machine Gun Kelly was at Hellfest this year. That's heart-wrenching. I'd think when I looked at the lineup this year for Hellfest, I would not have spent too much time at the main stages. Um, but yeah, definitely. That's why new festivals come along. Festivals like Tulminator, uh, good underground ones for fans. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. This is going so fast. Uh, so Tim says, dude, that Maiden System crossover at Nova Rock 2011. If so, I hate to tell you this, but they were staggered. System played after Maiden. Uh-oh. um, yeah, this is a good comment. Dark Funeral and Slayer sounds like something that would give people an aneurysm. Yeah, it's how much Satan do you want? You have to decide. It's such a brutal choice right there. Yeah, thank you. Lego Boy comments. John 5 is definitely above Motley Crue. He is. God, I couldn't believe that announcement. As soon as I saw it, I was like, dude, I hope you're getting such a big fucking paycheck that you can use toward better things. Hey, I understand it. I definitely know how it goes. Metal Kid comments, bro, I actually made it in. Yo, hey, welcome to the party, man. Welcome to this virtual metal show we're doing here sometime. You know, it'd be cool. Sometime I should surprise everybody and set this up like a normal live stream and then have it be my band doing a performance. That would be cool. That was an idea I just came up with right now. So we'll see if that happens at some point. Herb comments, do you enjoy metalcore and hardcore? Metalcore, not really. Um, I do really like Heaven Shall Burn, and I would consider them more of a metalcore band, but I also don't think they sound really similar to many others. but metalcore wasn't really my thing. Um, Hardcore, in terms of like hardcore punk, I do like a lot of that. I fucking love Sick of It All. I like Terror, like Madball, bands like that. But again, I'm not big on it. I would consider Sick of It All one of my favorite bands, but it's something that I appreciate here and there. I don't consider myself a big part of that scene though. Metalcore doesn't really do it for me. Deathcore doesn't really do it for me. I feel like I'm very old school. I was telling my friend this yesterday actually, that for me with music, I can appreciate it being really technical, taking so much skill to perform and finding that incredible talent. But I more so am connected to, I guess, like kind of the flow of music, the groove of it in a way. It's more so how it makes me feel rather than I kind of guess how structured or like how articulate they try to make it in some ways, I guess. So for that reason, I think that's why I'm into a lot of old school stuff, like the old school Florida death metal scene, Obituary, Cannibal Corpse. I love the Swedish scene. Um, but that's just me. Spiffy Snake, I like that name. Says, do you have to camp in one spot all day to be close to a headliner at a large festival, or are there easier ways to get to the front? Is it worth it to be very up close for sound quality reasons? That's a good question. So if you park your spot there immediately and don't move, of course you're gonna have that when the headliner comes on. That is brutal though. That is hours and hours of sitting there at the rail. Hopefully you have someone going to like get you food and drinks. Otherwise you might be screwed. Some people do it and those people are fucking warriors and all of my salute to those people. I can't do that anymore. But what works well, but the secret I've found is that if you're at a festival where the two main stages are right next to each other, so it's like one stage is playing, the other one's setting up, and they go back and forth. Um, Whichever festival or whichever stage the band that you want to see is on, you should stand on like kind of the outer edge of the stage next to it. So if stage left, that's gonna be hard translating through here, but if stage left is playing and the band you wanna see is on stage right, you should stand kinda in the middle between, and then that way you get to see the bands and you get to kinda slowly move up as the crowds go back and forward so quickly. And then especially during whichever big band is before on the other stage, if you loop, like, all the way around to where most of the people don't just immediately walk, if you go to, like, around the audience a little bit, there's usually less people over there. That's a trick that I do at most concerts, is as soon as you walk in the door, most people just kinda stop as soon as the crowd gathers and figure that seat. But if you kinda just mosey around to, like, the back to the side that a lot of people won't venture towards, it's usually a lot more open and easier to get up to. I've been really up close for headliners at Hellfest when didn't park out there all day. You might have to do a little bit of shuffling through, but it definitely can work out. Um But if you have legs of steel and you don't need to eat, then feel free to just post up there all day. I have a friend who does that. My friend Kyle, he's in the band A Monarchy. You should check them out. Um, every fucking not only every festival, every show, he's on the rail no matter how difficult it is. There's countless festival and band performance videos, and you see him because he's right up there up front every time. I don't know how the fuck he does it, but props to him. Um, Ooh, Metal Kid says, "I love Celtic Frost. I'm really hoping that Triptychon tours the US soon." Yeah, dude. Not only Celtic Frost, I really love Triptychon too. Their albums are great. They're both playing the Mexico Metal Festival happening in Monterrey, Mexico in November. It's Triptychon. I think they're doing a Celtic Frost set and a Triptychon set. So that is cool. Going. Do. Mertza says, "I would split myself apart. I love Slayer and Dark Funeral." Yeah, it's so difficult, you don't know what to do. I mean, you can go watch half of one set and then go over and watch half of the other set, but obviously then you miss out on Some of it very shitty. Metal Kid comments, "For headliners, when I saw Slipknot, I started at the back. When they ended the set, I was basically front row. It was fun." Yeah, bands like that, it kinda doesn't matter where you're gonna be. Slipknot, Slayer, Lamb of God. It doesn't matter where you're standing, you'll end up somewhere else, whether you want to or not. Um, J-Dub says, "Love the channel, Wyatt. Thank you. Questions around band merch. What are your thoughts on bootleg merch?" Ugh. I see a big following for bootleg sellers on social media, so curious it helps or hurt a band these days. That's a very I feel like there's a very interesting perspective on that nowadays, at least, because obviously when it's a bootleg shirt, the band's not making money off of it. So that's shitty. When I was younger, I would tend to go for the bootleg shirts just because they were cheaper. And didn't really know the whole like setup and everything. So in terms of that, I think that's lame. And I personally do feel a bit gross about buying the band shirt from someone who has no fucking clue who the band is at all. Um, I sa I say this as a joke, I don't actually say this in real life, but if you want to, go for it. Whenever I'm walking out of a show or walking to a show and some bootleggers ask me to buy a shirt, I always quietly say to myself, "If you name 3 songs, I'll buy a shirt." I know it's terrible to go up to, like, a woman wearing a band shirt and be like, "Name 3 songs." But if someone's, like, trying to hustle you a really shitty bootleg shirt and the band's, like, spelled wrong, I just wanna be like, "Name a song of theirs," and then I'll buy the shirt. At the same time, though, band merch has gotten so fucking crazy expensive nowadays. If you're going to a big show in an arena or something, not even an arena, in a theater, I think, yeah, it doesn't even have to be that big of a show now. Shirts are regularly like $40. Hoodies are like $100 now. That shit's fucking crazy. And a lot of that isn't even going to the band. Because now a lot of venues fucking steal merch the uh from the bands themselves with these crazy ass prices. So that is really conflicting for me is that if I'm at, let's just say Gojira, for example, and there's a just $60 t-shirt inside officially, and like some of that is gonna go to the band, but not much. And there's a bootleg shirt outside that's way fucking cheaper. You feel kind of fucked either way in a lot of ways. Honestly, I don't often buy band merch at shows anymore, at least, unless it's like a festival and there's vendors or something, or if it's a good deal. Um, Milwaukee Metal Fest, shout out to them because all of their merch was very affordable. Uh, and I think it's not, yeah, you can't really fault the band for that too, because I definitely understand. I worked at a big arena for a Gojira show, so I understand that. Um, a show like that's gonna be hiring people to work the merch booth because it's so much bigger, so they need to get paid too. So I understand that, but it's just been so astronomically fucked lately. I think the entire live music industry, not just metal, all of it needs a massive overhaul, like a massive overcorrection because companies like Live Nation have made it fucking impossible for fans and bands to succeed. Now I'm going on a rant here, but I was thinking about this the other day how not long ago, now 80s, 90s even, um, bands were making way more money and tickets were way cheaper. So people could go to shows a lot more and bands would make a lot more money. Obviously, technology's changed in that time to mess things up, but it's just weird. You think about in the past, concert tickets were so much cheaper and bands were making so much more money. Nowadays, concert tickets are so much more expensive and bands aren't making any fucking money. So there's a big problem here, which a lot of people know about, obviously, but it is my dream that one day Live Nation shall be destroyed and peace and balance will return to the live music world. Um, Sapphire Postbox says, "Hey Wyatt, I saw you included a clip of Lordy in your recent video. What's your opinion on them?" That's cool that you caught that because actually Lordy was one of my first rock and metal bands. Actually, when I was first getting into metal, um, I went on a school trip to Europe when I was like 14 or something, and I made it a point at every stop to go into a record store and buy an album that looked cool, having no idea, like, much about metal, just like, "That looks cool, give it a shot." And one of the albums I grabbed was a Lordy one, and I fucking loved it, and I thought it was really cool. Nowadays, I really haven't listened to 'em much, here and there, it's kinda I'll put on some of their, like, older, like, songs that I got into back in the day during, like, Halloween and stuff, it's fun. I haven't seen them in such a long time that I'd be so curious to. The only time I did see them was at Ozfest when they toured here, but they were a really fun band for me getting into metal. Nowadays, I don't not really that much into them, but I'm always up for a good horror theatrical show. That's always cool to me. Metal Kid, what are the best US fests in your opinion? Because this may be my second year going to Blue Ridge Rock Festival. I wanted to expand my festival collection. I really want to go to Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Um, Immediately, what I think of is Milwaukee Metal Fest just happened and came back, and that festival was great. It was really easy to navigate through, really good bands. Felt like a very fan centered environment, you would say, or I would say. Um, 70,000 tons of metal in Florida, of course, taking a cruise ship to the Caribbean. They really seem to have gotten their shit together this year. Um, Highly expensive, but highly worth it. Fire in the Mountains definitely looks so unique and interesting. And even though I haven't been there yet, I think from the videos it looks like one of the best ones. Maryland Death Fest, everyone says that's one of the best. One that I haven't been to yet, surprisingly. I don't know how in my career as a metalhead, but absolutely going to the fucking next one for sure. And we'll cover that. There's good festivals in the US, and there's more and more growing all the time. There's also the very big ones like Aftershock in Sacramento. Um, Incarceration looks pretty cool. There's a Full Terror Assault. Yeah, I need to make it out there. That one just looks fucking insane. Looks like a bunch of thrash metal and meth combined together in a field. Looks great. Maritza says, "I've bought a Beyonce bootleg shirt because all her merch was sold out. That's what I had to settle for." Yeah, and honestly, I think Beyonce's doing okay. I don't think she's gonna be hurting from you spending $20 on a bootleg shirt. I don't blame you at all for that one. Uh, William, cheapest bootleg shirt I bought was $9 for a 2015 Mayhem Fest shirt, and the fest no longer exists. Yep, I remember Mayhem Fest. It was very, very much a time. And they'd always have those like shitty bootleg shirts out there too. I really wonder how all these vendors work together. I want to interview a bootleg shirt vendor and ask them like, how do you guys get the hookup? How do you know what's gonna happen? How do you get these deals where you have these thousands of fucking shirts and what do you do with them? I think that would be interesting. Wouldn't that be kind of cool to like make them anonymous or something so you can't see their voice or if they want, I don't care. And just ask them like how their bootleg t-shirt business works. I think that would be interesting. You know what else? I don't think this happens in other countries, but in California, if there's anyone watching from California here, they will immediately agree with this. I'm probably happens some other states too. Every festival or every show I've ever been to in California, there are lines and lines of these little hot dog vendor ladies outside selling like $5, $10 hot dogs. And I'm not kidding. Literally every single concert I've been to in my life in California, they've been there. When I left Emperor the other day, there was a line of like 50 of them just next to each other with their little carts, all of them going, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog. If you're California, if you've been to show in California, you know what I'm talking about. This is a weird phenomenon people have to come here and check out. But it's great. Oh man. So many times walking out of a concert, drunk, tired, beat up, that hot dog on the street saves your life. Um, oh, Scott's comment here is really good. Don't get me started on Live Nation. I know, dude. I was praying for the pandemic to put them under. Wishful thinking. I know. I was doing the same thing too, man. Like when businesses were being closed, shutting down, like businesses were getting burnt down. I was like, Live Nation is right fucking there. Like, uh, we need a whole like union of CoffeeZilla, Taylor Swift, Gene Simmons probably wouldn't care. People who actually can, like Dave Grohl, people all work together to bring down Ticketmaster. Um, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Sapphire Postbox. Do you remember which Lordy album it was? It was the Apocalypse. That would have been the time. I think it was the time when that album came out, but it was that one that I bought. Uh, Bringing back the balls of rock and roll. I'm pretty sure that's when they were on Eurovision. It was when I happened to be in Europe at the time, so they were kind of everywhere, and they were unescapable. Scott says, "Have you ever been to New England Metal and Hardcore Fest? It's back this year. It used to be 3 days long and definitely had lineups I'd imagine you would like." Yeah, I saw that it came back. I haven't been, but I definitely want to. Now that it's back, if I've got my eye on it. There's such a fucking long list of festivals I'm gonna have to check out. There's so many. Now I'm getting clashes of festivals. Like Blue Ridge Rock Fest happens at the same time as Full Terror Assault, so I have to figure out if I'm to do one, which way am I gonna go? Ritza hot dogs, yes, yep. See, it's a staple of California. Two cute comments. I'm kind of upset that record stores are low key dying out. I feel like we need a resurgence in record stores and music. TV shows like Top of Pops because it's how so many bands were found. Yeah, I was thinking about that when I made my recent video about how I became a metalhead, and I was talking about how I'd go into stores in Europe and just buy an album that looks cool. I was remembering that feeling of like not knowing what to expect, but being like, "Oh, this is some cool, interesting thing I got to check out," and really sitting down and playing the whole thing and feeling the entire album because now it's so much singles, top of certain things, and you don't get the full feel of an album anymore. And I'm extremely guilty of that. I'm not saying anything. Yeah, I very fall into that mindset of like, oh, I know these songs, so I just go there. But I think more people really should buy physical music and sit down and listen to an album all the way through uninterrupted and feel it. I think yeah, back when I first started getting into metal, it was like at the tail end of when everyone was going to record stores. William, in the 1980s, records were only $8, $9. Yep. They're probably fucking $50 now. I have no idea. Um, Honda Hey says, Lordy was my first metal band and it introduced me to metal. Hard Rock Hallelujah is one of the most nostalgic and legendary songs for me. Yeah, when I was in Europe on that school trip, the video for that song was popping up fucking everywhere. Every single time I turned on the TV, it came on. So it got pretty like forced into enjoying Lordy for a bit, I would say. They're fun though. Like I do love big fucking crazy pyro shows. That's my type of thing. I was surprised that they're even still around though, because they haven't really heard much from them recently. Oh, Metal Kid says I'm starting my vinyl collection. Nice. The problem is price. I wanted to pre-order the new Polaris album, $40 fucking. Like, come on, yeah, dude. That is. I've always respected my friends who collected vinyl, and I think it's really cool. But for the price, I think is the main thing that deters me from it. Yeah, if they were cheaper, I'm sure I would because I do like that idea of actually getting the record and putting it on and enjoying it. That's cool as fuck, but I can't do that price. I would run out of room. I don't blame you. Um, so much going on in the metal world. William says, last corporate record store I was at was 2000 Honolulu Tower Records. It's closed now. Damn, that sucks. They still have the building of what was the legendary Tower Records here in Hollywood, but I don't think it's ever been anything since then. I think it's legit just been an empty building of like, that used to be the cool place back in the 80s when things were fun. Oh, man. Well, that's caught up on comments right now. I hope everybody's still doing well out there. I do want to try to figure out what fucking shows were coming up because I know I had some. Oh, I did have questions that I asked people earlier that I wanted to answer. Let me pull some of those up. Talk amongst yourselves in the meantime. Create an a cappella song. Everybody just create a rhythm going together and just sing something. Angus McNay says, you going to Aftershock? I am not this year. I went 2 years ago, I think. And it was pretty good, and I would like to check it out again, but this year, the lineup is really not for me. Um, yeah, I need more brutal hardcore shit. So I had some questions that you guys asked me on a post I made on YouTube the other day. Someone asked me, "What is your opinion about future headliners? Like who's going to replace the big names in the game, such like Metallica, Megadeth, Judas Priest?" Yeah, that's one issue. I saw a lot of people complaining about Download Festival, saying that it's been a while since they've gotten new uh, headliners. They tend to recycle a lot of Slipknot, Iron Maiden, uh, whoever else they routinely get. I saw they put Bring Me the Horizon as a headliner this year. I don't think they've headlined before, so that's definitely a new one. I didn't fucking know that Bring Me the Horizon is so big now. That shocked me. But in terms of metal big headliners, I definitely see Gojira and Amon Amarth getting up there. They're already climbing really high in America. They're playing stadiums, which is fucking nuts. I remember being a young kid first seeing Amon Amarth playing clubs and being like, wouldn't it be so cool if they played with the giant Viking ship? And like, that would be amazing. And now they do. It's crazy. And Gojira has blown past my expectations for like how well they'd be popular here in America. Rightly deserved. Not knocking that band anyway. They very much deserve their success. They just went higher than I thought they would. But I can see them two being headliners. Behemoth feels like they're getting there. Um, I feel like a big one now is Avenged Sevenfold's really reaching that spot of um top like big festival headliners nowadays. Ghost for sure is up there. I feel like the new headliners are coming along. They take a little bit of time. And I feel like in a lot of ways it's kind of not gonna be as impactful as the first ones no matter what, just because you get your first Iron Maiden, your first like Slayer. So these bands could still get very big and break new ground. They already definitely are. But I feel like that alone, just the existence of those big bands in general, kind of makes it shadow that and make it feel like the new headliners are still a ways away, but they're really coming. They're really, really coming. Trying to think if there's more. Those are probably ones I can think of off the top of my head that are doing real big and I can see becoming official staple. And then Lamb of God for sure. I feel like Lamb of God has basically kind of taken Slayer's place in terms of when they play, all hell breaks loose. um. Oh yeah, William says Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, December 2023 is coming. True, the year's flying so fast, and Metal and Beer Fest is nuts because you can just take fucking mostly free drinks the whole time. That's something every metalhead wants at all festivals is just free beer. Um, sorry, reading is hard. I listen to blast beats. I don't read. Uh, in Finland, the bigger cities, there are always some record stores. Record and vinyl collecting are pretty common here. I know because I collect CDs. Awesome. Yeah, Finland has more of a dedication and love, I think, to real music. I haven't been to Finland yet, and I've been wanting to ever since I got into metal and discovered how big the Finnish scene is and everything. I really want to. I just suck. Um, Metal Kid says, "Dude, I really want Gojira to headline everything. About a month ago, I've decided that Gojira is the best band of all time." Yeah, a lot of people are really, really taking to Gojira, which I support 100%. I feel like I'm definitely a fan of Gojira and I like him. I don't like him quite as much as kind of like everyone else seems to, but at the same time, I'm not knocking them in any way either. It's kind of like I'm not crazy about them. I really like him. Whenever I get the chance to see him, I definitely will. But when I see other people crazy about him, I'm like, I'm not. There's definitely far worse bands, and they definitely deserve all the success they get. And it's cool to me because I mean they have a bit of a stage show, but it mostly is just guys up there playing and being able to play such big epic shows. There was a lot of you younger people watching probably wouldn't know. In the early 2000s is probably this guy's first US tour, but there was a tour of Children of Bodom headlining, and then the openers were, I believe, Amon Amarth and Gojira. And can you imagine either of those bands opening now? It's time moves fast. Oh, hey, William, Northwest Terror Fest 2024 was announced May 9th through 11th in Seattle. Yeah, that's another festival I do really got to check out. I've heard a lot about that one, especially that area is so beautiful too. That I think that's around the same time as Milwaukee Metal Fest, so we'll have to see which one clashes. Oh yeah, great comment here, Honda, I believe. In the topic of conversation, Sabaton is also definitely a headliner band. Yeah, that one caught me by surprise because I got into Sabaton about like 10 years ago when Terror Dominatos came out, and I thought they were fucking great, but I just didn't picture them getting as big as they are now, and they've exploded. So there's a good amount of new headliners coming along, I would say. Mirza says, "I love Bring Me the Horizon. My favorite album will always be Suicide Season. The girl holding the guts on the cover was so spooky to me when I was a kid. It's always those first albums you see when you're young that still stick with you. Those album covers, which barely happens nowadays. I'm guilty of what using streaming and Spotify for most of my music too, but it just doesn't feel the same. It's not as tangible, not as powerful, I think." Scott says, "I'm seeing Gojira and Mastodon play a 5,000 person venue, which is more than twice the size of the venues I used to see them play in. The show did so well, it sold out inside a week and they added a second show." Damn. I mean, that's fucking cool. That shows that it can still happen, because touring is such a disaster for everyone. But to still see bands like Gojira having these successful big tours, it's very heartening, I would say. JWT, any interest in the Baby Metal Death Clock tour? So I've seen Death Clock before, and they were fucking great, and I would love to see Death Clock again. Baby Metal, I had fun with when they first came out, and it felt so bizarre. I really have not given them a interest or listen recently. I feel like that's a show where if I went, I would enjoy Death Clock, and then I would probably check out Baby Metal because I was there just to see how it is. Um, but yeah, for me personally, I would go more for Death Clock. But I know Baby Metal would be interesting. Angus says, "For me, Gojira is fine, but I don't seek them out." Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. Like when they have a new album, I'll definitely listen to it, and I give them all the credit for being skilled musicians and writing such deep songs. At the same time, they're just not one of my ones where I'm like, "Fuck." uh, Maritza says, "Have you heard of Hells and Heroes?" Yeah, I have heard of it. That was fairly new. I don't think I'd heard of it until I started this channel and people started recommending it. Um, so that's now on my list to check out. But yeah, um, I do want to hit up more of these really smaller festivals that are kind of like mostly indoors. Milwaukee Metal Fest was like that, not a big open field running around in dirt and cow shit. It seems kind of nice. Leanne says, "I think Avatar has potential to be huge." Yeah, that's another one I didn't see coming either. They're getting bigger and bigger every year. Yeah, that's another one where I remember hearing about them, but not really think they made much of an impact, and the next thing I knew, they're on every American festival and, like, everyone knows about them. Metal Kid says, "Behemoth is a band I want to see so bad, but it's like they refuse to tour in Virginia, like, come on." That sucks. Yeah, I know sometimes you get unfortunately, get end up living in these shitty areas where bands don't tour. I have a friend who lives in Florida, and she pretty much doesn't see anybody because nobody ever goes there unless they go on 70K. I hope you get to see Behemoth soon. They're always fucking killer. I've seen them a lot. Um, and they're a band that's always growing, always getting bigger and bigger. I personally don't think they'll ever top the Satanist. That was a massive like opus of music, but Behemoth's still fucking great whenever I see them. And I hope you get the chance to soon. Sodom is headlining for next year. That's why I'm trying to go. It's in Texas. Oh yeah, I saw it was Sodom. I think they had Queensryche, uh, other bands I don't remember. Put on the spot, nothing comes to mind. I had all these flyers be pulled up. Is there anything else in this week in metal or in this week coming up in metal? Oh, one thing I did want to bring up here for the channel, bring it up to you guys and see what the thoughts are. Because, like I was just saying, I'm someone who uses Spotify, and I do tend to end up listening to a lot of the same stuff over and over. Um, I go through periods where, like, every couple months, I'm focused on 5 bands and play them in rotation. And I've been wanting to discover new music and just have more experiences sitting down and taking in an album. So I think it'd be cool to start on this channel having you guys, the viewers, start recommending an album. Maybe you can have like a poll and have people vote on which one wins or something. But I think it'd be cool basically to every week have you guys decide an album for me to sit down and listen to, and then I can give a review of it once I'm done with it. In my sarcastic asshole analysis, I won't be able to talk about like the structure or anything, but just be like, this song made me want to punch nuns in the face. It was great. But, I think that would be cool because that would help me open up to more bands and music and be a more engaging thing for everybody. I don't know. Let me know what you think of that idea. Oh yeah, have you heard of I think it's like Termion Cantaloupe? That's gonna be my guess, but I know that band is, and they are fucking awesome. I have not seen them live, but God, I would love to. They're one of the few industrial acts that I can get really into. Me and my friends used to play them all the time when we were younger. We'd drive around blasting them and like dancing in our cars. It was great. They're super cool. I would love to check them out. Oh, Metal Kid says, "Only problem is my dad wants me to stay away from music that openly praises the devil, but he understands he loves Merciful Fate." That's an interesting turn. Don't listen to openly satanic music, but Merciful Fate's awesome. I mean, I agree. I fucking love Merciful Fate. Um, but yeah, man, I hope you can make it out to a Behemoth show soon. They're always killer. Um, I think that before I wrap up, because I do gotta mention this because it'll be my next video. Hopefully it'll be up today. I don't think it'll be take too long to make this video. But there is a metal streaming service. Let me pull it up here to show everyone before I get to it. Because I know we all have thousands and thousands of streaming services, but if you're a metalhead, this will be a good one for you. There is a streaming service called Thunderflix. It is all about heavy metal. They have they basically have documentaries, they have live concerts, they have movies that were inspired by metal. 666 a month, how fitting. Anyway, they asked me to check out their app and basically review it and give my thoughts on it. And that is the video that I'll be working on immediately when I'm done with this, and will hopefully be up later today or tomorrow. But To give you guys a scope really quick, I thought it was pretty cool. It's fairly new. They're still growing their library, but they still have a good, decent amount of stuff on here now. But as a kid, I loved watching metal concerts, documentaries on bands, all of that stuff. And this is a great little home for it, it seems like. Yeah, like Murder in the Front Row, thrash metal documentary, Surge's documentary, heavy metal parking lot. And then you got these classics, Megadeth, Powerwolf. So it's a pretty cool app. I recommend checking it out, and I didn't have any issues running it either. I kept clicking from thing to thing, and it started right away. This was cool too. They have a gothic industrial version of Nosferatu where it just plays like classic goth music over the film. I thought that was cool as fuck. There's like this Norse Viking movie that uses metal music for the soundtrack. Anyway, heavy metal streaming service, Thunderflix. They asked me to check them out. I think they're pretty cool. I'll be making a full video on them pretty much right now. And with that being said, I think that will be the end of the podcast for this week. This is a really good conversation. Thank you all for keeping the chat alive, uh, asking me some really good questions, and got me going on a couple of rants that hopefully weren't too unhinged. But I will see you all next week for the next podcast. I believe I should be available. Yeah, so next week I'm available to do this podcast. Dark Insanity, check us out on Instagram. We've got our stuff coming real soon. We have a very big announcement coming, like so big I can't believe it, announcement coming up towards the end of this month. So keep an eye out for that. And check out my channel, Wyatt's Metal. YouTube is being a dick right now. All across the board, all YouTubers are getting way less views and traction than they have been, and I've noticed it too. So if you like this channel, please like the videos, please share it to your friends and get it around. I very much appreciate that. And yeah, I will see you all next week. Take care.